Right, so supporters of the former president are arriving in full force at his Nkandla homestead. It's D-Day for Zuma to voluntarily surrender to the police on Sunday, and he'll be beginning that 15-month jail sentence. Law enforcement agencies have already done a threat assessment on the potential for civil unrest following the Constitutional Court judgment on Tuesday. Now, there are groups that are meeting at Durban City Hall to start their journey of support to Nkandla. Let's now cross live to Durban. That's where we find our reporter Dasen Thathiah. Dasen, thank you so much for making time. What's the situation there? Have the people started moving towards Nkandla?
Well, Clement, it's a lot calmer now. Earlier on, if we had spoken a couple hours ago, that's when the supporters of the former president were making their way through the CBD. They were stopping in protest at many of the intersections. They'd even gotten down to the Durban port, and that's all in the name of Jacob Zuma. But let me get straight into it. We're now at the ANC provincial headquarters, and this is where the supporters have converged. And I have with me Spongile Young. You, I believe, ma'am, you handed over a memorandum to the provincial leadership here. In brief, and particularly in relation to the issues around the understanding of what's happening with the former president, what was in that memorandum?
Okay. See, ANC, eThekwini, besilethi memorandum, sithi sikhathele ukuhlukumezeka kwamsholozi as a constitutional court ikwaze ukuba imgwebe u-15 months. Sithi no, enough is enough. Hands off Msholozi. Sicela current president uCyril Ramaphosa ukuba angenelele ekutheni akuyekwe manje ukuhlukunyezwa kukaMsholozi. UMsholozi uzabalazile lesi isikhathi sakhe sokuretire enjoy emva kokuthi azabalaza kakhulu elisana neapartheid.
Ma'am, can I just interrupt you to ask you to please put your mask on? I think it's around your neck at the moment. And just while I'm asking you about that, so I just want to understand, what is your expectation of the provincial leadership? Because, as you know, this is a constitutional court decision. What is your expectation of how the provincial leadership can make any difference?
Okay, the provincial leadership, we are asking them ukuthi baye ku-president, the current president, ba-raise ama-views ethu siKwaZulu Natal. Ukuthi no, asihambisani nokuhlukunyezwa kaMsholozi. Abahambe bosikhulumela noPresident uCyril Ramaphosa asebenzise amandla akhe ukwazi ukuthi uMsholozi akhululeke.
What happens if the situation doesn't change? If the former president does go in and spend those 15 months that he's been sentenced to?
We are saying before bathathe uMsholozi, bothatha thina kuqala. Bothatha thina kuqala before bafike kuMsholozi. Kuningi kokwenzeka. Kodwa besicela uCurrent president angenelele ukuze kungenzeki okuningi. Angeke ngikusho konke la kodwa kuningi okuzokwenzeka.
And just lastly, what is the plan for supporters today? The groups that we are seeing here, they're going to be making their way to Nkandla tonight.
Some of them are going to make their way to Nkandla tonight, but some of them are going to break to my branches where we reside, and there we are going to take some action.
What will that be?
No. Sithi thina uMsholozi akakhululeke.
All the best. Thank you very much. That's Spongile Young. They're just telling us about their plans in particular. So now what's happened here is that they've handed a memorandum over, as I mentioned, to the provincial leadership here. That will be passed on through their spokesperson for the ANC in KZN, Nkandla Ntombela. He has also told us that they will be then holding an urgent PEC meeting. Now, this is one of the reasons that they'll be doing that is to discuss or find a way to communicate the message of Jacob Zuma's sentence and what it means and the implications, and to unpack that for all of the structures in the province. They feel that more understanding is needed, and one of the reasons for that is to ensure that nothing gets out of hand. You would also have seen that the NEC meeting was cancelled, and those NEC members will then be making their way to the province to also address this issue. And those meetings are expected to be taking place from tonight onwards for the weekend.
Yeah, indeed. Dasen Thathiah, thank you so much for your time. That statement from the ANC cancelling the NEC meeting, the party says they are quite concerned about possible violence that may erupt in KwaZulu-Natal, so they'll be deploying some of their members to KwaZulu-Natal to try and avoid what they say could be violence, injury, or loss of life. We'll chat to ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe about the postponement of this NEC meeting. We're also scheduled to speak to the SAPS in KwaZulu-Natal about the safety measures that they're putting in place. That's still to come here on The Lead. Stay with us.